So the acting secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP South-South, that's Barrister George Turnah, has downplayed his alleged suspension by the Bayelsa State Working Committee, assuring that the issue will be resolved soon. Turnah, who was suspended over alleged misconduct following his acceptance of the zonal secretary role, said he was unaware of any wrongdoing. He described the disagreement as an internal party matter that would be settled shortly and urged supporters to remain calm. Meanwhile, the PDP executive in Ward 9, Obia, has rejected Turnah's suspension, calling it illegal. Ward Chairman Ederi Progress and other executives argued that due process was not followed, stating that only the ward executive has the authority to suspend party officials. They urged the PDP National Working Committee to investigate the matter. So for more on this, we have Barrister George Turnah, South-South PDP Zonal Acting Secretary. Good afternoon and welcome to Newsday.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure to be in conversation with you as well. Let's get straight into it. Can you give us an outline of the events that transpired according to your own experience? Because it seems there are conflicting reports of what happened. Tell us from your own perspective, what happened? Are you suspended? Are you not suspended? Are you still in office? Just summarize for us.
Yeah, thank you. Let me emphatically, state that I am in office as acting secretary of our great party in the South-South zone. Of course, I took out of office a few days back, and I resumed office yesterday at the zonal secretariat in Port Harcourt. Talking about my suspension by the Bayelsa State Chapter Working Committee. You see, even from your introduction, the confusion is already there. Because when you say following his acceptance of the role of the acting secretary, you see, they created so much confusion. They did a suspension notice. I am in receipt of an invitation letter from the State Disciplinary Committee. Neither of the resolution passed by the State Working Committee that is in circulation, the social media, nor the letter served on me by the State Disciplinary Committee, exposes or reveals or contains any offense known to the concern of PDP, leveled against me. You have even now created your own because it is not there. You have created your own by saying following his acceptance. If they had even stated that in their letter that, he's following the acceptance, then we will now look at the PDP constitution, especially Article 58, that creates offenses to see whether accepting a role in the party as acting secretary of a zone where the role is in line with the concern of the party, confirmed by executive committee at that level, if it constitutes an offense under the constitution. I really don't know what to say, but it's laughable. The State Working Committee of a party in Bayelsa State has no powers under our constitution to exercise disciplinary actions against a senior officer. By hierarchy, like in your outfit, a general manager, and then you have a general manager, then you have an officer under general manager, then the officer now issues query to the general manager. It's an aberration, and it's laughable. You see, the only ground where a lower organ can discipline a senior official of the party, it is not even discipline. It's at the ward level. And that is not discipline at all. It has to do with your membership. Because by Article 8, reading it conjunctively together with Article 16, you discover that membership of the party is at the ward level. That is where you're registered. That is where they grant you membership, the right to be a member. So the power to determine that membership at all times rests, with the World Executive Committee. So what they can do is to suspend the membership of anybody from the party. They can't even discipline. For instance, I am acting zonal secretary. The World Executive Committee, where I come from, don't have the powers to suspend me from office as zonal executive secretary, but they have the powers because membership is at that level. They have the power to suspend my membership. But the implication is that once they suspend my membership at that level, I stop being a member of the party, then I cannot even hold any office. So that is the implication. But other than that, the only ground an executive committee at any level, for instance, the state working committee can exercise disciplinary action on anybody is when you are a member of that particular working committee. They can suspend their chairman, they can suspend their secretary bodies at their level, but they can't look up to suspend somebody. They are junior officers in the party. I'm a zonal, acting zonal secretary. They are under us, so it's an aberration, and I don't even want to talk about it. In any case, as a lawyer and one who respects the rule of law, when a court makes a pronouncement, you take steps. I have exercised my rights under Article 61 of our Constitution, which is my right to appeal. I have entered a notice of appeal with the zonal secretariat, which is the next level organ of the party following, above the state. So I have done that, and I await their decision. So I've played my part, but just to put on record that I am in office, the state working committee has no powers to suspend me from office. In any case, they didn't state whether they suspended me from office or they suspended me from the party. Or later, if you have seen what is in circulation, it's so laughable. And I wonder, can you see our recruitment process is one big problem we have in Nigeria. Leadership recruitment process. Why do you embarrass the party in this manner? You don't know the things you can do and the things you cannot do. So I don't even want to bother myself with issues that are non-existent.
All right, Mr. Turnah, you've made it clear that you've entered your notice of appeal and you're awaiting the decision. We're also looking forward to the outcome, and that the State Working Committee cannot suspend you based on hierarchy that you took your time to explain. But one thing that is apparent is that the internal crises going on in the PDP we keep hearing more and more news about it, more or less on a weekly basis. And when you consider the performance in 2023 paired with this current internal crises, what fundamental restructuring does the party need to undergo to remain viable as an opposition force come 2027?
You see, the first is that you can hardly make progress in an environment where impunity, is almost a normal. The party has a constitution. The constitution is supreme. And one just expects that everybody will act within the limits of space and scope that the constitution allows you. PDP is a beautiful party, and we have our ways. It's a bit difficult because we are not coming from a background of opposition. So fitting in plain opposition, it appears we are struggling with it. But can't we even manage ourselves first, internally, before even playing opposition? So it boils down to leadership. It boils down to people understanding the limits of what they can do and what they cannot do. For instance, the Constitution says a zonal executive committee meeting can be called at the instance of the zonal chairman. The zonal chairman calls for a meeting in line with the constitution, and then so leaders of the party at whatever level will say, they are not attending, or it is not proper, or you see, just creating confusion everywhere. So my advice is that party leaders at all levels should try and govern their activities within the limits, allowed by the Constitution. And then we will just have a family that can now be able to articulate the yearnings, expectations of Nigerians and engage the government in power to ensure that at the end of the day, the Nigerian masses are the ultimate beneficiaries. What is the essence of governance and opposition? There is a class of people who needs to benefit. So when the person in charge of managing the common resources of the people takes certain action that is not in line, the opposition checks and says, look, don't do it this way, do it this way. So the people will benefit ultimately. But what we see as opposition is when you wake up every morning and if President Tinubu drinks water, you must condemn whether the water is white or whether the water is black.
Okay.
I don't think that is it.
All right, just very briefly before we go, I just want to ask a quick question. You've given us some insight into your experience, and you're saying that you are not suspended, that they have no authority to do so. My question is why, very briefly, sir, why do you think you are being targeted? Why are you being bullied in this way?
Well, targeted, I don't know if that would be an appropriate, I don't know if I'm targeted. You see, look, I'm so confused. I don't even know why whatever is happening. Nobody has told me. The Constitution creates offenses. Offenses. When you say misconduct, for instance, if you see me romancing or kissing, a deep kiss with my mother, my biological mother, morally, it could constitute misconduct. But is it a misconduct to the extent of an offense created under the concern of the PDP to say any member found kissing his mother shall be guilty of an offense punishable by this? It is not. They have not been able to refer me. You can make an investigation. Nobody has said what I did. I'm so confused. I'm so targeted. I don't know, maybe for standing for what is right. And I will continue to do so without, any fear of any. I am an activist. I've been in this business. I'm a student unionist. I was number 2 student of this country. I was vice president of National Association of Nigerian Students. And I mean, nobody. I will continue to stand for what is right. If that offends anybody, I have no apology. But I don't think I'm targeted.
All right. Well, thank you for clearing your stance, and all the best with your notice of appeal. Mr. George Turnah, South-South PDP Zonal Acting Secretary, we'd like to thank you for your time here on Newsday.